Hello. Happy Sunday. I'm here in my dirty hair, no makeup, on my deck, and I wanted to go live, and I've been wanting to go live to share this, and I've just been procrastinating doing it because I've been working on a new course that was actually a bonus in my last when I launched my second half Spark School in May, and they've just finished going through the course curriculum, and so I have like 3 bonuses that they got, and I've delivered one and I still have 2 left, and one of them is this abundance course. So I've been working on that, and it's taking everything always takes longer than I think it will. So I don't know when I'm going to start factoring that into my schedule. But I'm going to release 2 modules tomorrow, and then I'll get the rest done over each day. That's my commitment. But so that's why I was procrastinating this live. This live is more of something I just wanted to share because it's something that I've been doing, learning, and growing from, and I thought it would maybe be useful to other people to hear. Uh, and it was calling to me. So, and I did a float session. I don't know if you know what floating is, but it's something that I discovered, gosh, about a year ago probably. And I've only done 3 or 4 sessions, but I bought myself a gift, like a 5-session gift card, because I knew if I did that, first of all, I'd get a discount. And secondly, I knew that I would be more inclined to do it if I had gift cards to use. And it was also when the pandemic was happening, and I thought it would help their business to have some money from gift cards. So, anyways, I did my float session last Thursday, and when you or do a float session, you're in this tank that is water. It's like a huge bathtub that you float in because of Epsom salt. So it's like this got this huge amount of salt in it, and it keeps you afloat. But it's pitch black, and you you kind of forget where you are, and you kind of go into this like nether world. It's like you really can talk and connect to your inner higher self. And so I love it because being a very busy person, a very active person who likes doing, it really gets me into the silence. And my word for the year was silence. I wanted to really practice more silence because that's where you access uh, the your intuition. That's where you access the things that, for guidance and more clarity. And so, of course, it's like now that I've discovered that, I want more of it. And so you have to be very intentional and very deliberate if you really want to make progress in that area. And so, signing up for floating sessions was one thing, and then making sure that I do them. So, anyways, so the floating session actually gave me the idea for doing this live, and what the content's going to be for this live. So, what it's going to be about, and you might have seen me, I think I put some text up. It's about 3 things. It's really about religion, spirituality, and beliefs. So I wanted to touch on those because I have learned so much very late in life. So, and I have resisted religion my whole life because of, and this is where beliefs come from. Beliefs come from your childhood. And I had some exposure to religion very negatively in my life. And so it turned me away from religion. And so when I had the opportunity to learn, and it's like spirituality to me is religion, but in a softer sense. It's not like hardcore, like Bible and, people that are just, the people in my life who are religious that I was exposed to are super pushy. And so it allowed you, like I did Young Life when I was in high school, and I love that because it's a softer sell. It's not like the hardcore sell that an organized religion is. And so as I got older and was feeling less uh, happy in life and less fulfilled in life and what I was doing, uh, and I started learning about spirituality and connecting to your intuition and to the higher self, the source, I just felt that that was an easier, more comfortable way for me to accept God. Like, yeah, I believe in God, but the calling it something different like the universe and source and all that kind of stuff to me was I can accept that. I can like deal with that. But when you start quoting biblical verses and God this and God that and Satan this and Satan that, that pushes me away. That shuts me off. Oops, there goes my hat. Yes, it does that. It's like a very abrupt shut off of any kind of learning for me and I think a lot of people are like that, and I don't know if it's kind of the world we live in because when we, past generations religion was a big part of life, and as religion has become less predominant and there's more choices of religion, and there's more people are marrying outside of their religion, so they're mixing religions and they're kind of doing this hybrid thing. It becomes like it's not as much. That's why I really liked Young Life, because for me it was an outlet. I dated a Mormon actually in high school, and I spent more time going to Mormon church than any other church. So I just wanted to give you a little bit of that background. I don't know. I would love to know where you're coming from, if you're like, you consider yourself more religious or more spiritual. But I thought this would be just a good conversation and a good I want to share also what's happened to me as I've opened up more in that area, and some really cool stuff that's happened as because the other thing too, and I've shared this with my students, and when I do my free trainings and we touch on this subject, is that I closed off like my intuition for so long in my life. I just really suppressed stuff, and when things would come up, I'd be like, oh no, that's really stupid. Things that would like come from my heart or my gut, and I'd be like, that's really stupid. That doesn't make sense. And so I really shut it off, and then I would go to my logic brain, like but that's your ego. Your logic brain is really being driven by your ego, and it doesn't necessarily lead you in the right direction. It leads you where you think you need to go based on like trying to please people or trying to impress people. That's what the ego does. But when you reach into like the heart and the intuition, that leads you to really where you're supposed to go, where like the agreement you had when you were born and what you're supposed to do. And when you just go with your logic brain, because of our human experience, often will lead you astray. So I really have tapped into spirituality, and I teach some of the practices that I've learned that have helped me in my program, the Second Half Spark School. So I wanted to what I did is I started by like looking at definitions, because I thought, let's start with the definitions. So because I have my own like version of definition, but I thought, oh, let me like speak to the definition. So when I look up religion, the definition of religion, it says religion can be a central part of one's identity. Modern dictionaries define religion as an organized system of beliefs and rituals centering on a supernatural being or beings. To belong to a religion often means more than sharing its beliefs and participating in its rituals. It also means being part of a community and sometimes a culture. So for me, my exposure, I am more spiritual, agree with the higher power and believe in God, but not in a forceful way like you referred to. Yes, Sharon, totally agree. So, yeah, my dog's crying. I don't know what he needs, but I'll just ignore him. Yeah. So for me, like organized religion was almost a judgment. Like if you weren't in this organized religion, you were judged. Hey, how are you? I'm doing a live. I'll be with you in a second. My sister-in-law just came. I invited her for wine, and here she is. Yes, so we're gonna have some wine, but I'll finish this live. So, anyways, what happened was I was turned off because it was always like, if you're not, it's like a club you belong to. Are you in this club? And you're not in this club. then you're not accepted or believed, or your beliefs are uh, not recognized or not appreciated, right? You have to believe a certain way or else. And I have been exposed to people who are like, if you don't believe the way I believe, you're going to hell, or you're definitely not going to go to the right place in heaven. And it's like, that's not how is that possible? Lots of commotion on the deck. So much for trying to do an impromptu live. But like, how is that right? How can, just me, again, this is my beliefs, could be totally, people believe differently, and I accept that. But I accept other people's beliefs. That's the point. But how can you think that there's all these people with different religions in the world, and only your way of thinking is the acceptable way of thinking? So that's, to me, when you do that, you push people away. So if you want people to believe like you, the best thing you can do is model love and acceptance. And then, gosh, people will react and respond to that. And so that, to me, organized religion was always kind of had this negative, um, and again, my experience, totally my experience. So people who had different experiences obviously will have different beliefs about that. So that's where beliefs come in. So anyways, uh, so the spirituality aspect, and I looked that up, and the spirituality aspect is, um, oh my goodness, did I lose it? Yes, it was such a great, I think I overwrote it. So I'm going to look at it real quick again. Okay, so it says, spirituality involves the recognition of a feeling or sense of belief that there is something greater than myself, something more to being human than sensory experience, and that the greater whole of which we are part is cosmic or divine in nature. So that's what I connect with. That's what I connect with. And when I was thinking about it, and I was thinking and preparing about this live, I was thinking religion to me is the lens you see the world as. It's like the lens, the perspective you have. Whereas spirituality is how you feel it, how you feel the world. And so for me, that is what I connect more with. It's a feeling versus, um, some rigid sense of, categorization, or, uh, you know, having to fit a mold. And that's why I like, so with spirituality, like a lot of times people refer to the source or angel guides or um, the universe or God sometimes. So, but I feel it's so funny because as I become more spiritual, I've become more comfortable with saying and talking to God. Isn't that crazy? But I've taken like kind of the soft approach instead of the hardcore approach, which I resisted because of the bad exposure to people who are so critical and judgmental. Isn't that crazy? Like religion, or supposedly being connected to God, is loving everybody to me. And but then you get like criticized. It's like, that it's like I more people that I've known who have been the most judgmental people are people who are religious. It doesn't make no sense to me. But anyway, so that's why I adopt the spiritual term versus the religious term. So I thought that, but again, it's a learning process. So I've been, the last like 2.5 years, I've been like doing meditation, doing a lot of personal development, learning about the science behind, uh, the divine. And it's been a really amazing journey. And I've grown so much and changed so much, my perspectives from it, and really understanding how the mind works and how we form these beliefs and these as a very young child, and our exposure to different things, and how we are just the result of those experiences. And we think that's the truth, but in reality, it's just our lens that we have on. And so, and if you are raised in whatever environment you're raised in, whether it was religious or non-religious, my parents became very anti-religious because of the exposure. So what happened to me is I saw what my parents, how they were reacting, and you do usually what your parents model for you, right? So anyways, I just wanted to share, and I'll end it on kind of like what's the most recent things, because as I said, I was kind of closed off to this world of what's happening, like what's my like higher self trying to say, what is going on there. And because I was really closed off from it, I wasn't hearing, I wasn't getting clarity, I wasn't getting messages, or I was getting messages, but I was just like ignoring them, suppressing them. So the things that have happened recently to me that are so exciting is um, I recently, when I was meditating, which I hadn't done, I was actually doing a breath work session, which is like really intense meditation. I love it so much because I really get into the flow state, or really get into the zone, as they say. And I actually saw an eye in meditation. And I don't see a lot when I meditate, but it was really cool. And I just want to tell you, because I was like, oh my gosh, what did that mean? And it wasn't a scary eye, it was like a pretty eye. And so I looked out of curiosity to see what it was about. And it says it's your third eye, and that your third eye is a seat of is the seat of clear seeing, called clairvoyance. When you are meditating, you are clearing the mind and making room for the divine to communicate with you. So I was like, holy crap. Like I like opened that connection, and that will bring you so much insight as to your path and what you should be doing. And just, yeah, and because I was always such a person who was uh, more comfortable with the busy, and being silent was really hard for me, and very uncomfortable for me. So like using the silence to connect to like instructions, in a way, it's like instructions. It's like, just shut up and listen. Just shut up, be quiet, stop talking, and get in touch with that guidance that's inside of you. And know is all knowing, it knows. So and then the other things was I started seeing, and if you don't know angel numbers are when you see like a repeating pattern of the same number. And I often will see like 222 or 555, or I'll look at the clock and it'll be 333 or something like that. But I don't necessarily see like consistently the same pattern. I'll see them, and they'll be, oh, I saw an angel number. But recently, like in the last couple of weeks, in one day, I saw 111 like 4 times. I was like, oh my gosh, like even like 11:11, not just 1:11, but like it was 11 a.m., 11 minutes. But it was like so noticeable. I was like, whoa, that's saying something. So let me see what 111 means. So what I found is, because I don't have them all memorized, I always have to look at them. But what that number means is it indicates your dreams are being manifested. You're attracting abundance and prosperity in your life. And the angels are contacting you to offer support and help on your journey. And then it goes on to say that the number 111 contains two significant numbers in numerology, 1 and 11. The number 1 represents independence and motivation. It also signifies new beginnings and the ability to let go and move forward toward success. 11 is powerful and indicates your ongoing or impending discovery of your soul's mission and life purpose. Combined, the numbers are doubly significant, hearkening spiritual awakening and inspiration. Sign, another sign. It wasn't just once it appeared, it was like multiple times in a 24-hour period, which is a sign from the universe that you need to pay attention to. And the last thing that was super cool, and I do these card pulls on occasion, not frequently, but I like them because sometimes when I'm like needing insight on something, like I use it for my podcast. Like if I'm like, okay, what should I talk about on my podcast? And so I love this deck it's like really the only deck I use, Energy Oral Cards by Taylor, Sandra Ann Taylor. But I've had it, and like I said, I don't pull cards often. Oh, and I have been told that is like communicating with the devil. I like That's the spiritual in me, not the religious thing. That's like what the religion it does that I don't like. because like when you do it with the intent of love and understanding and clarity, it like that's not talking to the devil. It's asking for divine inspiration, and that's what these oracle cards do for me. So, so I have pulled like the same card more than once. But there's a lot of cards. It's like a 52 or 56 card deck, and there's a lot of cards I haven't pulled. So I remember when I sat down to do this card pull, because you still say a prayer of intention before you do the card pull. And I remember thinking, oh, I wonder if I'm going to pull a card I've never seen before. So I had that like little intuitive hit. And then I pulled this. It was the same time I saw the ones, the 111s, and around the time I saw the eye in the meditation. So these like that's why in my float session I got the download to talk about this, because it's like, oh, but this card, it says it's the seventh chakra archangel Uriel. First of all, the cards are beautiful. And so when you go and turn to it, it says this beautiful angel Uriel, also called the fire of God, also called the fire of God, wears a brilliant crystal crown vibrating with a passionate connection to the divine. She brings great power to your seventh energy center, which is called the crown chakra and is located at the top of your head. This card upright indicates an open and free-flowing channel of information and inspiration from the wonderful beings in the spirit world. Yay. This could also be a time of great intuition for you and guidance from your higher awareness. So allow yourself to quiet your mind and listen. Now is a great time to get connected. The assistance from spirit is great. And whether it's the presence of an ascended master, a powerful angel like Uriel, or just a loving friend or family member in spirit, their loving willingness to assist is always there. So this connection is open now, and you will find that your own spirit and the spirits of those around you will be able to provide the answers you seek and the blessings you desire and deserve. How cool is that? So yes, I am a work in progress, but I continue to read everything I can. I continue to be open to perspectives, and I continue to absorb and enjoy everything that I'm learning. And so I'll just like spit it back out and tell you what I'm going through and learning. But these three things that happen so closely, and the fact that I've been working on having that connection and opening up, because I feel like the more I experience and grow, the more as a teacher I can help my students. And so that makes me also really happy. So anyways, I need to go need to go pour myself a glass of wine and enjoy my family over there on the other side of the deck. So who didn't know I was doing a live. So hopefully, yes, Sharon, thanks for hanging out and being with me. And I hope you have a rest of a great Sunday, wherever you are. All right. Mwah.